So is the crypto market going to crash again? That's the question, right? We have had some horrific, horrific days in the last week, and it has been an insane ride. And I wanted to talk about this because I woke up today. We had a great day yesterday. We had a nice green bounce day. And I woke up today and we're back in the red. Okay. So I want to talk about, is crypto going to crash again? Because I was like, I wanted to do a video talking about the overall market. And I'm like, what's kind of maybe the sentiment? What are people feeling out there? Right. And I'm like, well, what are you feeling? Austin, are you worried that like, oh man, are we headed back down again? Therein lies the idea again for this conversation and this narrative and this discussion that I want to have with you guys. Okay. So let's talk about the overall crypto market. That's not the right button. I pushed the wrong button. That's a little bitty screen. Look at that. That's interesting. I don't want to do that. We want to do that one. All right. There we go. New software. I'm still figuring it out. All right. So is the market going to crash? Is crypto going to crash? Let's talk about this. So you can see right here, right now, as of the recording of this video on Saturday, May 14th, we're at a $1.24 trillion market cap. We're down 5.4. I mean, goodness, think about this, guys. 1.24 trillion. 2 trillion was really kind of our norm. And then when we had kind of these push down days, we might back down to say 1.8 or so. But to be down 1.24 trillion, where $800 billion plus has been burned from the overall market cap, is truly an astounding thing. Okay. And therein lies the narrative and the story, right? And the discussion. Are we headed for a crash again? My opinion is no. And I would even say that the last 4 or 5 days were not really a crash per se. They were more of a significantly strong bearish push down, a bearish, momentum push down scenario. And been getting advice and guidance from people that do a lot of technical analysis that are extremely good at it. They had said, hey, look, we see and we look to Bitcoin being pushed down to that $28,000 range. And it might bounce down below that, which in fact it did. It bounced down to 26,350 was the low. And Ethereum, kind of very similar story. We see it bouncing down to about 1,800. It did. It actually bounced down to a low of about 1,754 to be exact. We see those lows, right? And that's what's kind of these people that I look to and give me guidance on TA technical analysis were telling me about. And there was really a systematic push down to that, right? So there was this systematic push down to that. And it was an interesting dialogue to kind of think about, okay, and that wasn't a free fall scenario. It wasn't like just we fell, and then we kept blowing through it. Okay. No, it was more of a every single day we had this just really significant amount of pressure being applied to Bitcoin, Ethereum, and by the way, to the rest of the altcoin market. Okay. Again, wasn't a crash. It was I'm calling it a push down, a bearish push down, factor that was playing out. Okay. So the answer to the question, are we headed for another crash? In my opinion, no. In fact, the guidance and the information I'm hearing and seeing is that going to those levels and being at the level we're at right now, this 28,000, 29,000 for Bitcoin and this, 1,800, kind of worst case, but really $1,900 to $2,000 level for Ethereum. We need to establish consolidation in these areas. We need to be kind of like right here. You see on this where my mouse is, see how we're kind of, yes, there's a little bit of down pressure, but we're also consolidating. We're also going sideways. All right. We want that consolidation period because that's where you build support. That's where you build consensus. And if you can do that in a multi-day scenario where you're building consensus and you're building support along this kind of sideways pattern movement, you're building support for a nice bounce back up. Okay. So that's the answer to the question. Is crypto going to crash? Are we crashing right now? Again, I don't have a crystal ball, right? But the people that I look to who really do a lot of analysis and deep dive technical analysis say that we hit the levels we wanted to hit and that we have set the stage for a significant bounce up. I'm going to remind you of one single fact before we end this video. Back in 2021, Bitcoin moved down to $28,000. That's where it was. And from there, it bounced back up to its all-time high of $68,000. I'm going to leave you with that. Thank you for your time. Thanks for giving me a few minutes of your day. I'll be here as always. Hit that subscribe button on your way out, and I'll see you next time. See you.